This video is part 2 of the 30Virus Hycast interview. If you haven't seen part 1, it can be found in the pinned comment below. If you have, then sit back and relax as we are starting right now.
So Hytale's expectations and speculation is something we want to dive into a little bit. We do it every time. I mean, it's all speculation, but it is fun to talk about. So you've been very vocal with ideas and suggestions regarding Hytale on your channel, covering everything from like combat and modding and, you know, even more on top of that. So do you believe that developers of Hytale are actively looking for implementing these ideas? And what impact do you believe the community has had on the games thus far?
I know they're receptive to ideas. They haven't really tried to hide from me. I've seen several times staff members interact in my comment section or like in Discord or Twitter DMs. Right. So, I mean, they definitely are watching. Whether or not it's from curiosity or them actively looking for features, I don't know. Mm-hmm. I almost feel like during that time, it's been quite a while since I was active in the Hytale space. But back when I was uploading these suggestion videos 20 minutes long with like 30 or 40 different suggestions, I feel like they probably have so much on their plate that they're maybe saving the link of the video and just putting it away. Just be like, okay, when we have time, we'll get to it. I feel like they have a lot on their plate, so they're probably just gonna focus on what they plan to start, and then once they maybe get in beta, or maybe when they release, they'll start actually taking in the fan suggestions, unless it's something really fundamental, like for example my cubic chunk loading suggestion. That's something you'd probably want to do early on. Because making such a change in Minecraft, you know, going from 16 by 16 to 256 to just 16 by 16 by 16 in all directions infinitely is a big change, and it breaks a lot of stuff. So I don't know.
Right. So
I would say for the most part, they probably have their plan in place. Yeah. They're making slight changes, but for the most part, they know what they're doing, and they're probably just going to wait until later to implement changes from us.
Right. So we have speaking on the beta, we have an idea when it might fully release. You know, we've heard 2021, hopefully. So a lot of the community with that news has been speculating on the Hytale beta's release date. Do you think we'll still get a beta sometime in the future? And if you do, when do you expect we can get it?
This is one of the topics that I don't know how much I can say, but what I think what I can say is that I'm fairly certain that at least server developers will be given a couple month buffer between now and between when they get access to dev tools and the release. I don't know if it's going to be a month or several months. I don't know if it's going to be tomorrow or in January of 2021, and then I don't know. But I do think there's going to be something that happens before release that is big. Now, I don't know if everybody's going to experience it, but I can say with certainty that there's going to probably be a buffer time for selected partners to be able to produce content for day one of Hytale.
What are your thoughts on name reservation?
I think that's something that could be done fairly early on, you know? I mean, all it would just be a database.
Yeah.
You know? All they would have to do is just add an account system to, you know, Hytale.com, you know? Just be able to make an account, maybe send I mean, as of now, you can already sign up for the newsletter, so I mean, they already have some database somewhere with email addresses. Why not just add a username in there?
Yeah. Yep.
And then maybe give select people like YouTube ranks on the Hypixel, you know, that cover a lot of the creators to start with reserving their names.
Yeah, that's fair. When do you think we get it?
It's hard to predict that because it's such an easy thing to do that it'd be like, they could do it like now, but you know, it could just be a calculated decision. Maybe they don't want to get our hopes up too much, so they'll just wait. But
could be. Maybe they're even just waiting for day one. You get your name and hopefully you get it. I mean, because name reservation has been brought up pretty sparingly. I mean, obviously people like Dan TDM, right? He has his name.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see how far that group of select people that get their name reserved like reaches. So I guess, in the coming, hopefully year.
Actually, there's
we'll hear more about that.
I guess one thing I can say is that, I reached out to Noxie once regarding a certain drama that we're not going to talk about. And they were basically just like, yeah, we can't really deal with politics right now because, because we're focusing on making the game. I feel like name reservation probably falls under that category of, we don't have the time. I mean, sure, setting up the system is easy, but I guess there's going to be a lot of, hey, this person took my username. Can I have it now?
Yeah. That's
I feel like that's what Byte is experiencing right now. I mean, I had my name taken. I got it though, but there's going to be a lot of that happening.
Yeah. That's a totally fair point.
So unless they got someone specifically for that, I do think it might be a little overwhelming to have several thousand people just saying my name was stolen.
Yeah. That's fair. I think that's a pretty good reason why they've been kind of delaying it. Because it has, I mean, like I said, it's been mentioned very sparingly, and we have no idea when it's going to happen, and that might be the reason why. So, moving along, the Hytale community has been quite calm recently, with really only the diehard fans being active, me, you, Blockshot, all the people watching the videos, that kind of stuff. It's really kind of turned into more of a kind of a circle. So what do you think? Well, what do you think it'll take to bring back the community to where it was in January?
So I think what happened in January was not by chance. I think people at the time were frustrated with Minecraft because the lack of a combat update, many Hypixel players still playing 1.8.9 even after all these. It's been years at this point. So I think what happened was Hytale released its trailer almost at the perfect time in regards to hype. So even though it wasn't the perfect time overall, because, it was way too early, but when they released that trailer, it was at a time when Minecraft as a community was dying. People were frustrated. People were bored. And I guess Hytale brought them back to what they felt Minecraft was, way back in the day. It was this new open world, ready for exploring, infinite possibilities.
Right.
And that's really what got people hyped up. So I think it's going to be a challenge when it comes to, there's probably going to be a trailer too, when it comes to trailer 2, because now Minecraft has gone through a revival.
Yep.
I mean, channels like yours and mine,
yeah.
I mean, yours started from nothing and is now over 10,000 subs.
Right, and
me
kind of in general, Minecraft just kind of fit itself back into the space again. It's just kind of there. And
yeah, it's been revived.
Yep.
So I feel like a lot of that frustration with Minecraft as an inspiration for Hytale is gone. So what Hytale needs to do, it's tough. I think that it's going to have to rely on people remembering, hey, that's that cool game that people were talking about last year. So I don't know. Can lightning strike twice?
And can it strike inside of the bottle? Can they catch it again?
If Minecraft is still as popular as it is now, Hytale might have a slow start. But I feel like people are going to get bored of Minecraft again because, the game itself isn't all that different. So, I mean, I think in the end, the game's going to be popular, but whether or not it explodes straight out the gate depends entirely on Minecraft, which is annoying to say because, the world is cruel sometimes.
Yeah.
They could put as much work as they want into that game, but if people are satisfied with Minecraft, then I feel like a lot of people won't make the change. A lot of people will try it though.
Yeah, one thing that I think is a big help for Hytale is the fact that Hypixel owns the most popular thing in Minecraft right now, Skyblock, and since they own that, and since they're the biggest server, they have the biggest voice. I think it's going to be easier for them to get players in the game than it would be for a different server. So,
well, I have a devil's advocate sort of argument actually. One of our good friends, Brandon Crafter, would probably make this argument. Java edition is dying, and Bedrock edition of Minecraft is larger than it's ever been. people say Minecraft's dying, but well, they did last year, but in reality, Bedrock was never dying.
Nope.
Java was, but Bedrock
yeah.
is just becoming this behemoth, multi-platform.
It's so accessible.
Probably, it's super accessible. The modding scene is catching up to Java, but it's not quite there.
In some ways, Java's weird with its mod, because in some ways it's actually exceeded Java, but in some ways it hasn't, because
exactly,
you know, in servers, I can log into a server on Bedrock and instantly there's custom models, there's custom sounds or whatever, like instantly, which is actually something that's going to happen in Hytale, and that does not happen on Java. You have to rely on, like, I don't even know how Bedrock does it. I have no idea how they pull it off. I don't know if plugins are just different there. No idea, but they managed to pull it off, and it's weird. And Bedrock is this kind of, it's weird because Bedrock isn't talked about as much on YouTube as Java is, but in the player space, it's bigger and it's still growing. So
yeah, so that's the thing, is that technically way more of Minecraft is Bedrock Edition. So even though Hypixel has the Java Edition crowd, you know, taken care of, that is their thing.
Right.
I don't know what server it is, whether or not it's Mineplex or the Cube, or something is big on Bedrock Edition. So technically that #1 spot might not even belong to Hypixel if you include all of Minecraft.
True. Well, I guess Java side,
even then,
you know, Hypixel pretty much owns the clout there. But that's
and I can
point.
guarantee that I can guarantee, at least in Bedrock, servers aren't even the priority. People are just playing single player. They're playing, you know, some custom maps.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely networks that exist, but I feel like converting people from Minecraft to Hytale probably be, from the Bedrock perspective, would be freaking difficult. But from Java, it'd be a very easy shift.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. I haven't actually heard that brought up too much, is that the Bedrock half is going to be way harder to budge, because Bedrock is way more optimized. It runs smoother. It's more modern. It's got, you can just log into a server, like I said, and stuff's there. So that, I think, is going to be the toughest crowd, is the Bedrock scene. So that's going to be interesting to see, because there's a lot of people over there. So if Hytale can somehow hook them, then Hytale's going to be big. I think that's a really good point. So
yeah, 100%. If you were able to get a percent of, like, even literally 1% of the Bedrock crowd, that'd be instantly it'd be a niche classic.
Right,
you know?
Right, yeah. So with all of that said, we're on the final question. So here we go. Do you believe Hypixel Skyblock will be remade or remastered by the team in Hytale, and would you do? Wait, this question is typed wrong. What would you do if it was the case?
Ooh, this is territory I don't know. I have to tread carefully.
In your opinion,
it is of my opinion that Hypixel Skyblock is not the end game for Hypixel Studios.
Fair.
It could be a trial period, maybe.
You know, I've actually heard that.
I'm not going to say anything. Maybe the idea has come up.
Right.
Whether or not they're going to act on that is yet to be seen. But I can say this conversation happened way before the game mode blew up. So if I was Simon and I was thinking, you know, what if we need a banger game mode for our brand new game? What are we supposed to do? We have, and then, you know, is watching over the years Sky Wars, Bed Wars, Mystery, Murder Mystery, and then Skyblock comes out and it breaks all these records and is having tens of thousands of concurrent players. If I was Simon, I would jump on it. I would already be developing a Hypixel Skyblock equivalent in Hytale.
Yeah.
If that was me. Whether or not that's actually happening, I have no freaking idea. But that's what I would be doing if I was in his position. So,
and I think that's fair. I mean, Hypixel Skyblock kind of was out of nowhere. It just kind of came out, and then everyone's playing it. I mean, it's kind of Hypixel Skyblock is almost a game in game, because like it's got its whole own culture. Like right now, me and you both know how crazy some of the community can get with that game. So, you know,
I mean, the work that's been put in, I mean, there's a wiki, like a fan wiki,
right,
that's conclusive. It has everything. There's spreadsheets, there's websites. Like, people went out of their way to develop a spreadsheet that takes advantage of the API and is able to calculate what the cheapest minion upgrade is.
Right. And you
like,
actually have a video coming out talking about that. It'll probably be out by the time this podcast is out, but it's
within the week.
It's so crazy how much happened with this game mode. I don't think that's happened before for anything.
I've never
Minecraft.
seen such a passionate pre-release crowd.
And it's
since
still a prototype game, which is even crazier.
Yeah.
So I 100% agree that Simon should jump on it, because if you catch that kind of spark in Hytale, I mean, that's a big deal. So, you know.
And back to the discussion I had earlier about client side, you know, how you can technically have a mod on your processing things on the computer itself. I think it'd be freaking neat if you were able to just have super, what would normally be impossible, like just intensive processes happening client side, so that you'd be able to have this insane experience in a game mode like that. For example, a map that changes as you walk through it.
Ooh,
that is just impossible for a server, because it's like you're moving so many blocks, you have to sync it across so many people. It would cause so much lag and lighting updates. But imagine something like, I don't know if you've ever played I'm losing the name of the game right now, but there's a game where it has seamless teleportation, and you turn a corner and then you turn back and the room had changed. If you look in a hole in the wall for long enough, it becomes a hallway that you could then walk through. So like the map would be dynamically changing.
Are you talking about that game,
you.
that esport game?
Antechambers, I think what it's called. But I think stuff like that would then be possible, because everything's happening client side with only slight, you know, every now and then occasional updates to the server. So I don't know. I think there's a lot that Hypixel could do that's way beyond. And again, I'd recommend, you know, processing most things client side, so that you're able to, you know, really go all out and not worry about the limitations of packets and servers and stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think some could be really cool if it was made, you know, like a Hypixel Skyblock, but it's actually a full RPG.
That'd be crazy. That'd be actually insane. Be like, that'd be actually insane. That the culture that would surround that game mode would be mad. It would be insane. So,
not to mention that the game will be rated teen, so you could probably have a more legitimate story. I mean, I don't want to make it sound like I think the quests in Skyblock are lame, but anyone that's played over the Romero and Juliet, or Juliet and Romero quest line, would be like, you know, this whole thing just kind of feels like
it's not the most engaging. You know, it's not.
it's generic.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not original. It's not very engaging.
I think they just kind of put it there as content questline stuff to get some items going.
Yeah, I think this is a great opportunity to have a full-on story within the game mode. That'd be freaking cool.
That at that point, people like it'd be like a new RuneScape. At that point, it'd be that comprehensive. I think Hypixel Skyblock's already been compared a lot to RuneScape, but I think that would solidify it as like that kind of impact like RuneScape had. Not like exactly the same as RuneScape content-wise, but impactfully. So now we're gonna move on here to 3 lighter questions, because this has been a like a meaty podcast. There's been a lot of discussions, so let's move on to some community questions. First, we have Gunbach YT asks, does being a YouTuber affect the way you act to friends?
Well, I mean, we're friends, so let's see.
I don't think so.
I would say no, because there is a separation between Brandon and 30Virus. It's not really that evident during streams. Like, I still talk the same, but like, I would like to think that, you know, all the views and the attention and stuff hasn't gotten to me yet. I've heard people change, but
Yeah,
As long as I keep the mentality that all this stuff is a tool to better my career, I can keep that grounding and still be like, hey, I'm a human being. I'm not a god.
right.
Like, I am no better than my friends, you know?
Yeah, I don't
So
think it has
that's
personally. So,
yeah.
and, you know, we talk every
It's
day,
very hard to
so-
make that sort of, it's hard to make that judgment on yourself. So I can't really say for certain that that's how it is, but I have the general feeling that I haven't changed.
I don't think you have personally, but you know, it's all perspective, I guess, because it's different per person. I mean, I've known people that have flipped like that and they don't even realize, and it's a touchy subject for sure. So next up we got Peyton Samsel, who asks, what type of Hytale content will you make once it comes out?
I remember being asked this question and I said basically anything under the sun. So I would be doing programming tutorials, I'd be doing a vanilla let's play, I'd be doing live streams of playing the mini games on Hypixel's original server. And if there is a Hypixel Skyblock equivalent, then I'd be sure as hell playing that.
Yep.
I mean, I'm gonna have to go in double upload mode, which is gonna be a logistical challenge for the both of us because you know
Right.
we have that editor and relationship. So it's like, I think I'm gonna have to get off my butt with editing, but also at the same time still have an editor and pump out 2 videos a day on varying topics just to capitalize on the start of this game, because you know I've been wanting for a long time to establish myself as the Hytale guy.
Yeah. I'd say that's already been done to some degree. I mean, you know, Blockshot's one of
within
the
our own
last
space
surviving,
right now.
like 30virus like and Blockshot are like one of the last surviving names from that community. You know, like that community faded away, and you know, staying prevalent after that is hard to do. So, you know, I'd say that.
Yeah, and I feel like
That's
all the
been done.
remaining stuff is all friends
Yeah.
with us. You know, some of the remaining projects, you know, Hycast is
Hycast,
technically under the Button Press umbrella,
and
then you have
we have the Game Gurus. We're cool with them. They're
yeah,
still around.
they're good friends.
They're actually called Legion Gaming now, by the way. I should say Legion. And
Yeah, and then there's Stolendale, which are also good
Stolendale,
friends.
Yep, they're cool. I mean, there's still like some of the bigger ones still around, but like a lot of them have just kind of faded away. So it's I think the ones that are still here are going to be the ones that are prevalent when the game comes out, and they'll be like that's going to be the Hytale scene. I think is the very few that are still around. So, you know,
There's going to be a lot of new people though, for sure.
That is true, 100%.
So,
And of course, you know, Cat the Sparkles is going to be there on arrival. Dan TDM. There's going to be some big dogs from the Minecraft scene, but there is going to be a spearhead for the Hytale scene. And you know, there's going
to be some homegrown, Hytale only communities out there, which is what I intended to be until Hypixel Skyblock happened.
Yeah, and you know,
But,
then the year wait came along, so we had to do things. But I think the current scene is going to be one that sticks around. So that's going to be cool to see. Now, finally, I got PvP in my name. Would like to know, how do you keep up with uploading or streaming every day?
The editor, which is you. Which is why this thing is so funny.
Yeah,
our process now is that we stream 3-4 hours a day, and then I hand that footage off to Fezzy. He makes an episode. I find time between classes and sleep to write a title, thumbnail, description, and all that, and we roll with it.
Yep.
And it's been working so far. I mean, I'm only 2 weeks into class, and I'm a little behind, so it's a little scary. But that's probably more so a product of my setup being incomplete than the streaming. You know, I'd spend multiple hours a day trying to fix Go XLR and you know, poking a hole in the ceiling to route a freaking cable for internet. But we don't. It's still setting up.
Yep. But I mean, I think it's going to be cool. I think it's going to be cool to see where things land when Hytale comes out, because, you know, I think all of us are still going to be there. I think Legion's going to be there. I think Hycast is going to be there. I think we're all going to be there. And of course, the AMP, which we haven't talked about on the Hycast before, is going to be a thing with a lot of our friends. So look forward to it. You know, I'd say look forward to Hytale, but don't overhype yourself. As per usual, I say this a lot because a lot of people, I think, are burning themselves out of the game before it even exists.
Yeah, I think one thing I probably should say along those lines is Blockshot is still very, you know, active as a community, but in terms of development and progression in general, we've kind of decided that before we get burnt out that we just kind of sit on it.
Right.
So like we're still gonna be friends and talk and chill out and stuff, but like any work that's being done, you know, there's only so much you can do before you're given dev tools.
Right.
And I feel like the more we do without dev tools, the highest our chances are of, you know, going in some direction we can't go.
Yeah. And the same thing with
Having
like
to backtrack.
with my, you know, me and Anthony's server Horizon, which has been like no one's heard about it for a while. It's because it's in the same place, and you know we gotta wait. So we gotta move on for a year, and then we can kind of come back and buckle down again. So with all of that,
in a way, it's convenient because you know I'm graduating right
Yeah.
before Hytale releases probably.
That's
so
actually
cool.
that's actually a pretty good point, because like if you had to do college on top of 2 uploads a day, it'd be terrible. For both of us.
I would have to take a gap semester or gap year, and then that's just going to cause problems after I get back. Ugh.
Yeah. So with all of that said, it's all the questions we had for today. If there's anything else you'd like to say, socials or anything like that, feel free to do so now.
Yeah, I'm ThirtyVirus everywhere, so whatever your preferred platform is,
Even Byte.
chances are I'm on it.
His name on Byte.
Even Byte. I have no idea if it's going to work out, but I'm at ThirtyVirus.
So there we go.
I'm very picky about that. Like, I will not use a social media platform unless I have my name.
Yeah. So thank you for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure. I mean, this was kind of an interesting one, considering you're involved already in the project, and we're just kind of, you know, talking about our parent company. So, you know, funny is a good one though. We touched on a lot of interesting points, I think, and it'd be fun to see the conversation surrounding it in the comments section or the chat, because this does get premiered. So, you know, thank you everyone for watching. Make sure to follow 30 on Twitter. Of course, all of his links will be in the description below. Thank you for tuning into this week's podcast, and consider subscribing if you'd like to hear more. This has been your host, Fezzy the Frog, and we'll see you here next time.
Bye.
This video was sponsored by Virtual Gladiators. Virtual Gladiators have everything you need to make your very own Minecraft or Hytale server. Click the link in the description to find out more.